Hello everybody, very good morning. Welcome to Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Dave Bradford, back with you, and whenever you see me here, you know it's a launch of a brand new collection. I'm here a couple of times a month. The lovely Carla is here obviously, and Taz is here as well, and we're bringing you an exclusive collection to Carnation Crafts TV today for the next few days anyway. Nature's Opulence is what it's all about, and I'll show you a few cards to give you an idea as to exactly what you can do with this. Sue Dalrymple, morning Sue, I know all the design team are watching. Just look at how gorgeous these cards are. You can obviously incorporate these wonderful arches, which we'll talk about more in a few minutes time, but it's all about basically there's a living wall in this, which I absolutely love to bits. You can obviously make that wall a brickwork wall. You can also make it, if you want to, a fantastic foliage wall as well. But it's all about celebration. Celebration, whether it's maybe an engagement, a graduation, whatever it might be, a wedding, anything like that. But again, Carnation Crafts have done it again. Take a little look as we bring you Nature's Opulence. Aren't they stunning? Now let me just show you the living wall, because that's the heart, that's the card shape of this collection. And here you can see Vera and Sue have both used the living wall brilliantly. Over this side you've got the foliage, and because you get extra flowers and extra foliage in the collection, you can of course make it into almost like a flower wall, which is incredibly fashionable at the moment. And then over here you've got the same idea, but this time you've got the brickwork, and again you can have hanging baskets on the brickwork, you can have the lanterns on the brickwork as well. It's absolutely stunning. Let me show you what you get in the collection, and I'll run through all the details for you as well. Now, as I'm sure you've known by now, we make sure everybody has the discounted price. So there's no promo code or anything like that to worry about anymore. Everyone is getting this discounted price if you order it today, and already 30% of the entire collection has gone. And when we show you in a few minutes these wonderful arches, you'll see those, and you'll want those in the collection too. Let's start with the living wall card shape first of all then. You've got that beautiful ornate frame with a lattice work detail, which you can use completely independently. You've got the hanging basket in there of course as well, multiple layers. Down the bottom, that's going to give you the kind of cut-in detail for the foliage wall, and also of course the brickwork wall. And then you've got all the additional foliage pieces there that you can see, which you can of course embellish that wall with. And then in addition to that, you can add many of the extras over here. You've got the champagne fountain, you've got the graduation cap, you've got the beautiful bowl with the champagne bottles in it, the glasses as well, so you can really kind of go to town and make that really opulent. You've got a Mr. and Mrs. Love Heart in there as well. You've got your on your anniversary, your happy birthday, and your celebrating style. And then over here you've got the beautiful pedestal, the gorgeous oval arched mirror, and then you've got the extra foliage and the bows and everything else as well. So this is all about celebration, Nature's Opulence. Now the show price today should be £89.99. As you can see, we've discounted it for absolutely everybody down to £79.99 with free UK P&P. We always do that at Carnation Crafts TV if you spend over £50. So that will be delivered for just £79.99. Clear Pay is there if you want to spread the cost, and also PayPal Pay in 3 is there if you want to spread the cost with your PayPal account, interest free of course too. Now one other thing which I think is an absolute must-have add-on to this collection is this, which is Lifted in Light. This to me is just superb, absolutely elegant. You've got these gorgeous arches. If it's making you think maybe of a stately home, either doors or windows, maybe churches of course as well, all of these are joined together, but you can of course use them to great effect, and they're also very three-dimensional. They move beautifully well too. And there you've also got the lanterns, you've got the corner foliage left and right. Absolutely stunning. Now this is only £34.99. You may well want to add that into your order as well if you'd like to. 40% remember of this has gone, 30% of the main collection gone, and 40% of this has gone since that little tease that Carla gave you on Facebook last night. But if I just show you the Lifted in Light arches, look at how stunning these are. And remember, all the artwork, we call them Carnation vignettes. All the artwork, I'm pleased to tell you, is there for you to print off right now at carnationcrafts.co.uk. But isn't that stunning? And it goes with the Nature's Opulence collection so beautifully well. There's one that was done by Janine Dawson. Hi Janine, morning. This one's done by Sue Rimple. And look how gorgeous that is, using some acetate there to create that look of glass. Absolutely mesmerizingly beautiful and so three-dimensional. I mean, that actually looks a little bit like Kew Gardens, I think. Very beautiful indeed. And then this one on a conventional flat 8x8 card. So you can use it as a standalone, you can use it as a topper if you want to. Sue's done this one as well. But what a gorgeous, gorgeous card that is. So I think you'll agree, both of them together work hand in hand. I know many of you have purchased both of them, but they are standalone as well. If you just want the lifted in light, it's 231106. That's $34.99 plus your P&P. And if you're watching this across the world, if you're watching this in America, for example, you can of course order as well. If you go for the main collection, that will be $4.95 P&P for you. If you go for, say, your perfect papers or some pro print paper or something like that, your maximum shipping and handling in America will be $14.95. But the main collection is what we're going to talk about first of all. Brand new today. You can't find this anywhere else apart from here at Carnation Crafts TV for the short term anyway. And if you want it, it's 231101. 30% gone at the start of our day. We've got 3 live shows scheduled. If you'd like to order it, just go to carnationcrafts.co.uk and we'll get it shipped out straight away. We always like to, during our live shows, kind of give you updates. Lots of you say that you actually get emails saying that it's been picked, packed and posted and it's on its way straight away. You might even get it tomorrow. Okay, lovely Carla. Oh, Taz.
I was just going to say, they can't hear me.
I can.
Linda has just commented saying that this is the first full collection she's bought.
Linda?
She loves it so much.
Linda, it's your first collection you've ever bought. Well, welcome. All I can say is welcome to Carnation Crafts. Fantastic that you love it so much, as do so many other people. So thank you, Linda. Welcome to the Carnation Crafts family. You're more than welcome. We're always here with launches 2 a month at least here on Carnation Crafts TV. Carla!
Hey, lovely face.
Hey, lovely.
Are you
How
all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
I love this living wall. I think this is brilliant.
Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So lots of different ways to play with this, and it's a really beautiful panel. So you've got one that is brick and one that's foliage, and you cut it with the same die. The bricks will give you kind of the lines of the brick. The foliage, those lines kind of get disguised in the amount of foliage that there is on the vignette. And so as it's cut, it literally gives you kind of like a floral, or not, you add your florals, but a really living, breathing wall. It's exactly what it says it is. This card shape is stunning. It's also incredibly, incredibly versatile, so that all the handcrafted cards that you make are just absolutely exquisite every single time. You've got some gorgeous layers here that you can see as they rise up, and you've got all of the elements that you need. We've got technical issues with the overhead, so what I'll do is just turn it around for you. So you've got, Miss Taz is on it, but I'll show you it here. Where you've got your rise here, these sort of pieces that are almost, it looks like it's netted. So you've got the elements here. Now you can choose to have the whole thing using all of those, or you can choose to have solid pieces that you can see here. So you've got those solid layers, or you can have some that have got some kind of trellis work in it almost, so that you can actually tuck florals into those if you wanted to and build up that scope for it. Absolutely beautiful in design and stunning to have that kind of scope for a change, a difference in what we're getting, and it's really, really pretty. You've also then on here got the little piece that sits here, and that works as like a balcony almost. It's like a little protrusion that comes out, and it works beautifully both with this card shape and with the lifted in light card shape
like
as
a
well.
little flower basket.
It almost is, yeah. It's really, really pretty. You'll see it as we go through demos, and it can, what it does essentially is allow you to isolate florals in these small sort of sections on your card, and they look gorgeous as they grow up. This whole collection is very peaceful, very gentle. Even, you know, it's a celebration, absolutely, but it's very, very kind of stunningly done. It's what you would want a wedding to be, essentially. It's very classy, very elegant, and very, very beautiful. We've got a ton of florals with this card shape as well. So you get lots and lots of little florals to work with. And what I'll do is start showing you the colorways for that so that you can see it all coming together.
Oh, wow.
So it's really, really beautiful. What you've got here is that wall panel, and that's your bricks. And you can see where you've got those little cut marks into it. So using that one panel, you can cut all the way through. You then have your foliage piece here, which is absolutely stunning. And it allows you to build. So you can see as we piece those pieces of foliage on there, you can sort of build them up however you choose to do. Now, if you're using one of the sort of netted pieces, those trellis pieces over the top of that, what you do is get a hint of it behind as well, and you can build florals on the top, add extra foliage to it. So you've got this really big bloom. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is the piece that almost looks like that flower basket, that grate that can be used. And then you've got all of these 3D pieces here, which are sort of blocks for you to be able to put florals on and to put other elements on as well. So they're really, really clever because they actually do look 3D. So it looks like it's coming at you from an angle. Gorgeous little florals for you to tuck in and work with. Beautiful, beautiful colours. You're going to love, love, love playing with these collections, but that card shape is going to take you through your crafting a long, long way to come because there's so many different ways of using it. Building apertures, building layers. It is a really, really awesome piece of kit for us to have. So that is your card shape.
I love the font of this.
I know, isn't it really beautiful? I really love the sentiments on this. I think they've done such an awesome job on it. On your anniversary, happy birthday, celebrate in style. Look how beautiful that is. It's so pretty, isn't it? I love the fact that we've got the Roman font at the top. Very, very strong. You've got obviously that shaded detail that makes it look vaguely 3D. And then you've got the in style in that gorgeous cursive at the bottom as well. So you get that lovely mix.
That's the handwriting I wish I'd had.
It's kind of playful, isn't it? Because you get that sort of very, very sort of... well, it's a Roman font, isn't it? It's a sensible font, and then you get that gorgeous cursive underneath it. Really nice if you're doing wedding invitations. This whole collection is brilliant for that as well. Gorgeous for wedding cards. Any celebration card it will come in for, and it's especially good also for graduation. We've then got this gorgeous, you've got the table here. Isn't that pretty? All of the cut line detail here, so it can be just shaped out to become almost swagged. It looks like fabric when we start to play with it in that way. You've got your bow, you've got your smaller line table that's, for instance, this could stand on if it was at a wedding. You've got the little pieces of roses here, the little floral edges. They're so beautiful. And if you take this foliage and you kind of lay it across, you swag it down and then put those roses on, it just looks stunning. It is so breathtakingly beautiful seeing those roses and that swag come down that table. It's so, so pretty. Very, very elegant. Then all of the celebrations. So we've got that gorgeous graduation hat that you can see here, and then we've also got the scroll. So both of those excellent for those things. But if you use the scroll on its own, obviously that can be used for different types of celebrations. It doesn't just have to be a degree, does it? It can be many, many different things. Candles for the cake. The cake is very clever. Now, if you wanted this as a birthday celebration, absolutely just cut one of the pieces, pop the candles on top. That's your birthday cake. If you want it as a wedding cake, you've got that there. Christening cake, it is any of those things. So you've got that sort of room to play. You've obviously got the sparkler that sits on top of the cake. Then you've got your little champagne glass in. You've got your individual, but then you've got this one that sits on the row with 4. So again, you can chop into that and start adding, so you get the pyramid of champagne glasses that we would expect to see maybe at a wedding.
Have you ever had a champagne fountain?
No, dude. And do you know what's really bad as well? Because I am so glamorous, can't stand champagne.
Can't you?
No, I hate it.
Wow.
Really hate it. Don't like it at all. It does not taste nice to me. And then you've got your bucket of champagne here as well on ice, which can be shaped as well. So that'll sit beautifully on that table that we were looking at previously, and you'll see that come to play in demo.
You're not an
Very
expensive
stunning.
date then?
No, kind of special brew and a kebab and I'm done, Dave. It's all good. Just saying. So then we've got this alternative shape. So this is obviously not part of the collection, but an extra, and this is absolutely stunning. This is your lifted in light, and Man Alive is that beautiful. And I think just taking a moment to look at that and the actual sort of extraordinary visual power that it's got when you see it. So you've got the arched windows. That could be a church. It could be a place of celebration. If you've got something like the wonderful in white collection where you've got the bride and groom, they could obviously stand on either side where you've got those sorts of empty sections here. Stunning. But we can also use that living wall, so we can put brick behind these, we can layer up, you can put the foliage piece behind it as well, all the different lanterns that just look so appropriate with this. Again, more foliage, so you've got these sorts of pieces that come around that are more corner edges really, and they're stunning. And then you've got these little florals, which when we're looking at things like the cake that we were looking at, they will sit beautifully on there and just build up. But that is an absolute knockout, extraordinary card shape.
I love the fact you've got the lanterns in different sizes
I know,
as well
it's
to give
great.
dimension and
And
depth.
2 colorways as well, so we can really warm up this vignette by using the golder tone, or we can cool it down by using the silvers, and we can mix and match.
I'm just thinking,
yes, Miss Taz, are you okay?
I was just going to say, it reminds me of Midnight Mass for Christmas.
yes,
It does
yes,
have Midnight Mass
absolutely.
for Christmas vibes.
Also,
it does.
if you've got any of the tiny lights that Carnation Crafts do, you could actually have
stunning.
those behind it as well. They'd look fantastic.
One of the samples actually has tiny lights on it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
I'll find that. I'm going to say hello to all of you joining us on Facebook and YouTube as well this morning. Jacqueline Ward, or Jackie. Hi, Jackie. She says, love the sentiments, they're so fresh. Linda McLeod, Carol Hart says, good morning, fabulous collection. Beautiful, says Liz Lacey. Morning, everyone. Hope you're all well and ready for a full day of crafting. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Carla, Dave and Taz. An amazing collection from Jane Latos. Morning, Carla, Dave and Taz from Karen Jane Crafts. Linda Wilson, you've got your very first Carnation collection today. Said hello to you earlier on. Amanda Elizabeth Spriggs, Janine Dawson. Hi, Janine, from the design team. Yvonne Hodge, Rachel McCourt, Alison Deacon. Many of you on Facebook and YouTube today. But let me just kind of tease you and show you some of the fantastic cards that have been done by Pam Simpson, this one, using those beautiful archways, those Gothic windows, or are they doors, are they archways? They could be either or, really. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? And then you can, of course, not do things that are quite as elaborate, something a little bit simpler, a little bit smaller. Tina Whitemore has done this. Isn't that just gorgeous? Sometimes smaller cards are just as beautiful and as elaborate as larger ones. So there's Tina's happy birthday card. A similar sort of size with this one, using of course the main living wall card shape. Look at that, just really simple, really stylish, a graduation celebration maybe, with that beautiful table, that cloth draped table with the scroll and then the champagne bottles and the graduation hat as well. Similar sort of idea with this one, but slightly larger, with Pam Simpson doing this. But I think for me, it's a toss-up between the living wall and the arches, because I think they are just so gorgeous. The lifted in light arches are amazing. Vera Bow has done this, and again, turning that wall from an ordinary brickwork wall into a wall full of foliage, full of leaves, full of flowers, full of petals. And then of course, with the vignettes, you not only get the artwork for the brick wall, you also get the artwork for the foliage wall, the living wall. That's where this really kind of comes into its own. And because you've got so many of the other flowers, you can of course really make it into a lovely, bright, a wall full of life, basically. And that could be any sort of celebration. That could be a wedding, it could be a civil partnership, it could be a birthday, whatever you wanted it to be. But I just think with the lifted in light arches, with all those lanterns, I'm a massive lantern fan. I think I've got about 12 lanterns at home that I use on the patio in the summertime.
Well,
and then
you're a bit fancy, Dave.
Because I work in bright light all the time, I like to have like really subtle light when I'm at home. And to have lanterns with battery operated candles in them just looks lovely. This is one of my favourites actually from Sue, because talk about dimension, just look at that. With the acetate for windows, it is like you've gone into the most amazing, I wouldn't say garden centre, it's more of like a Kew Garden sort of effect to this. I absolutely love that, again with the lanterns dotted around. This is another really beautiful one, using that pedestal again in the centre of the lifted in light arch. Janine's done this one, but isn't that lovely? With the wedding cake on the top, decorated arches, flowers overhanging and beautifully put into those little baskets on the side there. And this is using just one of the arches. You don't have to use all three of them. They can be snipped to be individuals. Janine's done this, and that could be a sympathy card. It could be a celebration card, a sympathy card. Very, very versatile. And that's what Carnation Crafts always strive to do. Give you collections that haven't just got one purpose. They've got multiple purposes. Can be used for multiple occasions, happy and sometimes sad as well. But look at that. This is Janine again that's done this one, with the mirror behind the pedestal, absolutely beautiful, and you can make your own flower arrangements. And that's another thing that I love, is Carnation give you the components to tell a story. rather than having one big die full of flowers and that's all it is, you get the individual components that you can kind of flower arrange and make bouquets yourself. So really, really lovely. It's brand new today. We have it exclusively at Carnation Crafts for the time being, so you can't get this collection anywhere else. And remember, when we came on air about 15, 20 minutes ago, 30% of the big collection has already gone. And 40% of the Lifted in Light collection has gone as well, which, where did I put that?
It's just behind you, Dave. It's just in there.
There's the Lifted in Light, which I must admit, if I'm going to make the investment in going for the main collection, it makes sense for another $34.99 to go for this one, because that really is striking. It's really going to catch the eye and make magical cards, which is what it's all about. Or actually, magical ornaments, not just cards.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more that you can do than just card making with anything from Carnation, really, isn't it? Because it goes across the board. We're getting to sort of get into that. We are getting into handcrafted, the realm of handcrafted cards, handcrafted home decor pieces. And the Lifted in Light is just so beautiful, especially, listen, at Christmas. I know it's not a Christmas card, and I know we're not sort of angling at Christmas at all. It is celebration, but when you start having that kind of church feel with those lanterns, tiny lights, maybe some vellum in there as well, you're just going to have extraordinary cards, because we're getting that feel. And a lot of you have got previous collections as well, so imagine how we're going to draw those in. Imagine the, you know, the extra pieces that we can put in, the scapes that we can make, because Lifted in Light, one of the other things that we've got with it, where you've got the central archway and the two smaller ones at either side, if you were to do that twice, and where the smallest archway is on one side, add another one to that so that that archway is doubled up almost, you've then got 5 arches. And it there you go, there's an example on the screen. It looks incredible. We're making something completely unique, absolutely unique and beautiful with these. And that's a really lovely place to be, isn't it, when we're card makers, that we're not making what everybody else is. And that's what Carnation give us because of that hand-drawn artwork. It's gorgeous.
Jam Bird on Facebook says, "Morning, Carla, Taz and Dave. I dislike champagne too." Okay.
Yes, we should form a club of the non-champagne, the non-fizziers.
Jacqueline Ward says, "On a personal note, just wanted to say how lovely Carla's dress is. It really suits
Oh,
you."
thank you. Yeah. That's very kind.
And Joanna Enyon says, or Anan says, oh, hello there. Hello back. Hello. Now, while I'm at it, remember, the two collections are separate. You can buy one or the other or both together. One thing I would really strongly recommend, bearing in mind the vignettes, the artwork on Carnation Crafts website, carnationcrafts.co.uk, is free to print off now, not tomorrow, it's there now, you can print that off straight away. To complement the colours used in the artwork, perfect papers. Absolutely. I know religiously many of you always buy the perfect papers alongside the main collection. It makes sense, because if you're trying to match up background cardstock and mats and layers with the colours in the collection, you're rummaging through your collection at home trying to find the right colour. This has been done for you. It's cardstock, it's 300 GSM, and you get a mixture of block colours and patterned as well. And you get 48 sheets, 300 GSM, 6 colour variants, and that's just another £14.99 if you want to go for that today. And you'll find that all the colours complement the colours used in the artwork. I just love the concept of Carnation, that you see the collection, you get inspired by the finished samples, you think, right, I'm going to order that, but I've got to wait for it to arrive. It'll be with you in a couple of days, maximum. But then you can have the instant enjoyment of going to carnationcrafts.co.uk, going to the download section, the free downloads, and then printing off the artwork. And you'll find that there's the artwork for all of the dies and also backing papers on there as well, which will be free too. So you can do that straight away. Taz.
I just said, Michaela's just said she tried to just buy the main collection. Never going to happen. She's now added the arch set in as well.
Michaela, nice one. I mean, it does make sense, especially if you're being treated. If someone's buying this for you, maybe for an event happening in a few weeks' time, possibly. Yeah, they do go so well together. And I personally think that the incredible Lifted in Light makes the main collection even more versatile and even more eye-catching and jaw-droppingly beautiful. So Lifted in Light on its own is there for £34.99. If you want Nature's Opulence, the main collection, then of course that's available for you as well. And that's got free P&P because you're paying over £50. 231101.
Stunning, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. I love the arches.
I know, they're really beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're very evocative of just prettiness. It's just class and elegance all the way, which I love. So are we going to have a little demo? Have we got time for a little demo?
I think we have.
let's do the things. So we're printing off those vignettes. If any of you are brand new and you don't know how to get a vignette, or you don't indeed know what a vignette is a printed PDF sheet, and that printed PDF sheet has got hand-drawn artwork on it. And you get to download that absolutely for free from the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. There's a banner menu that goes across. One of the options is downloads, and you click that to go to free downloads. When you get to free downloads, there are a list of PDFs, and you can search on the right hand side either by collection or name. This one is obviously Nature's Opulence, so you're going to click that. Lots of PDFs will appear, and that will include backing papers, inserts, and your original artwork for it, your original set of vignettes. And you're going to pop that into your basket, and you're going to have to go through a checkout process. Now, they are obviously free, the dies are not, but your artwork is. So you go through the checkout process, and it will download to your computer. Once it's downloaded, you then open it, preferably if you can with Adobe. That helps. Once you've opened it with Adobe, you're going to print it, and you'll print it at actual size or 100%, whichever works best for your printer. And you will decide which, your printer settings. Now, as you can see from here, I always set mine to media type photo. That's the type of paper I set it to. And I always set it at best quality. Now, the reason that I set it to photo paper is because we're actually using Pro Print to print on, which you can purchase from the Carnation Crafts website. That allows me to get a really good, vibrant colour from the handmade artwork, so it means that everything looks super, super beautiful. Once you've done that, you're going to be left with a printed vignette, which is what I've got sitting in front of me here. And that is the piece of artwork that we've got. So you can see I've got lots in here. There'll be two options for this. One will not have a black line down the centre, and one will. It depends on which way you want to cut it. Carnation do something called a mirrored vignette. And a mirrored vignette is where the image is on both the back and the front. And that's when we use the black line. I personally always use mirrored vignettes. If some of you aren't so bothered about having the image on both sides, you can always just print the single-sided ones and cut as you would a standard die. But we're always going to do it here with the mirrored vignettes because the output is much nicer, and also because it allows me double the options when I'm forming my composition, because I can have things facing left or right. So I'm going to fold it exactly on that black line. We don't fold to the center of the page because that black line might not be in the center of the page, so you're always going to just fold it on there. All I'm going to do then is just put a little bit of spray glue on the inside of it. Just bear with. You can effectively use like a Pritt stick. That would work, a glue stick. I would never advise using wet glue because it will make your paper wavy, and also take you days and days to get the glue in the right places. But if that's your preference, absolutely, you do you. And then all we do, obviously, when we're cutting vignettes out is we use our cutting machines. We all have different cutting machines, don't we? And we all cut in different ways. So you'll have to look at your own plate formations, but it's just a standard die formation for cutting these. And that's what I'm going to use. Just removing this. I'm going to cut that cake so we can see how it goes. I'm using Cut Tidy, so I'm just going to pop this inside my little sandwich, just there, and I'm going to place this onto here, just so I've got it in the right place, and I'm going to use a little bit of tape just to hold that in place, and that just makes sure it doesn't move when I'm using it and when I'm moving it, and that means everything is where it needs to be. Straight through from here, I'm just going to put my plates on top and pop it through my machine. I'll just move this a wee bit closer and then turn it on my very fancy Lazy Susan, which is very exciting. Make sure it plugs in. My wire keeps coming loose, so I do apologise. Let me turn it that way so it faces. Oh, Dave, it's a thing. There it is.
You all right?
Yeah, my wire keeps coming undone. You can see it coming off and on. There you go. Don't move it. Nobody breathe. Nobody breathe. See if it's still working. There you go. Chuck it through.
Can hear it working. Yep.
You want that crunch. First time I ever used a die cutting machine and that crunching noise happened, I was really worried that I'd broken something because it doesn't sound right. I've got to the point where I love the sound of it now. But when I first started die cutting, I hated it because I was like, ooh, what have I broken? It's just the pressure of those rollers going over what we're cutting. Now, because I've used Cut Tidy in the way that I have, my metal isn't obviously on my actual paper, so my die comes out clean. I don't have any paper in there at all, so I can pop that to one side. Then I can open up my Cut Tidy and take out that wonderful, glorious piece of artwork. And it's just so, if you look at the detail on that, so you've got those cut lines, those glorious, glorious cut lines. It is absolutely stunning. Really, really pretty. It's a bit bright there, isn't it? Just let me put it on this so you can see it on the overhead. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. You can see the detail in it. And the thing with Carnation that they do that other companies don't, and they can't, because unless you're going to actually hand draw that art, what you can't do is work out exactly where those cut lines are going to hit exactly to that pinpoint. What Nick can do is absolutely create that and make sure that the shade lines go in exactly the right place. So that die cut is giving us those lines where that shade point is absolutely exact. And that means we get something extraordinary every single time we create a die cut with one of Carnation's dies. And that's so important for us and so important for you as a crafter as well.
I think the thing is with Carnation, they are so generous to give you that artwork. I mean, we're so conditioned and so used to maybe having to go out and buy, it used to be CD-ROMs, now it's USBs with artwork on it. And then will you have the dies that correspond with the artwork? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. With Carnation, you buy the dies, they give you the artwork free. Now, I know some people just use religiously the artwork that's provided by Carnation. It's absolutely free to print off 100 times, 20 times, 3,000 times. It doesn't make any difference. And what you print it on is entirely up to you as well. But it's just, you know, you can actually use it as a guide. If you're a colorist or an aspiring colorist and you want to maybe color it in yourself, so it's, you know, truly hand done by you, you can use the vignettes as like a coloring guide and just kind of, you know, follow the colors that Nick has given you on the artwork. Thank you for all your messages as well, by the way, today. Kelly Hobbit Harrington, hello Kelly. I don't know if Hobbit's your nickname, but nice to hear from you. Kelly says, hi all, first time with you.
Hey.
The lifted in light set is absolutely beautiful. I feel I may have problems with a full basket. Oops. Linda Stevens says, Carla, champagne is definitely overrated.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it just doesn't taste great to me. Like, give me a lager any day, I'm happy. But champagne is just a little bit. Ugh.
Okay, now I've got to let you know, the main collection is now 35% gone, and we've only been on air half an hour. 35% gone of the main collection, Nature's Opulence. If you want the lifted in light, half the stock, that's not a surprise. Half the stock of that has now gone. Lifted in light, remind you, is that one there. I'm not surprised. That's going very, very fast at the moment. But they go together so well. And if you do buy both together, of course, you can enjoy the free P&P that you get with the main collection. And maybe take into account the perfect papers too.
Stunning.
Demo?
Should we demo?
Should we do it?
Should we do it? Should we do a demo? I'm going to do an 8x8 to start off with, and I'm going to use that lifted in light card shape. Later on during the demos today, I will also show you it used independently, and we will also look at the main card shape as well. We're going to start off with this one. I've got two pieces of cardstock 8x8. I've scored one at 1/2 inch, and I've got a piece of red liner tape running across. I'm just going to whip that off, fold that, put it towards my body so that I don't get into a hideous sticky mess. Shuffle the two together, place down, and put that on top. Now I'm going to start working obviously as I go through with my perfect papers, and I've got this gorgeous green tone in here. I'm working obviously with foam tape. For this I'm going to use a 3mm because I just want it to raise slightly. I don't want too much lift, so I'm just going to take them off. Now the two in the center are just going to remain my support panels, nothing more. So I'm not going to remove the liner tape from it, but I am going to form tabs here and here, hold them, and I'm just going to slip and slide until I get that into exactly the right place. I'm going to try and line that up best I can without peering over the overhead and showing you my roots, and then go down, and then we're cooling that with some whiter tone on top of it. Same process, always the same process.
And that's one of the perfect papers, one of the pattern sheets in the perfect papers.
Yeah, aren't they stunning? Aren't
Gorgeous.
they so pretty?
I'm glad they've done that now.
Yeah, I love the pattern papers. I was so chuffed when they came in. It just gives us an extra bit of visual, doesn't it? So we've then got that one there. finally, a full cooling down of those tones. Absolutely cool, cool, cool. Again, using 3mm, so I'm not changing up my height on here because it's going to be a chunky monkey card anyway, and so I don't want to have too much excess going on there. So I'm just going to place this in, push, pull.
Beautiful.
And that's going to give me my gorgeous center stage, and that's exactly what we're working with. If you think of a card base, once you've got everything done with your mats and layers, what we're trying to do is give ourselves a bordered canvas, and that's what we're working with. That bordered canvas allows us already to have some kind of lift where we can then start to build and shape from it, and that's always what I try and sort of work out when I'm doing. Now, you're lifted in light. This is exactly what that looks like, and as you can see, I've got my foam tape sitting just here. I'll just move those bits out of the way. I've got all my foam tape lifted. Now on these bits I've obviously just put a little bit, but I do want some lift, and you all who know me well know exactly why I've done that lift. It's because I want my shadow play. Shadows are important. But just looking at this card shape independently while I'm here, if I was to just utilize it on its own, it will stand, because what I can do is just score through on those sides, and then I'll show you it from the front because it'll be easier for you to see what I mean. If I then place that, it will stand as its own card shape, so I can build and lift from that. What I would say is, if you're going to do that, I would advise you to double it up and maybe do two. It'll just be that little bit stronger for you, but isn't that stunning?
Do you know what? That design would work well with like Myth and Magic as well. Myth and Magic, like Game of Thrones sort of style cards as well, because you've got the kind of gothic influence to it there a little bit, don't you think?
You little weirdo. Yes, Dave, it would.
You could incorporate that into
right.
it, yeah.
You would. No. So I'm just going to, I don't need to stick those, but I'm going to take them off anyway. And that's because my foam tape is exactly the same width as the actual bars behind it. What I don't want is a poke of yellow coming through it. So I am going to remove everything, but that means I've got to be super careful in placement, because if I stick it wrong, I've only got one chance. Not to put any pressure on myself live on air, but I have got to just be a little bit cautious. So I'm removing all of that. You know, I normally wouldn't, but under these circumstances it's important. I want a disguise. Now I'm just going to place this on. I've got to be very, very careful. So I'm holding it at these panels, and I'm just going to place it on that bottom line. That's my grounding device, so that it's not floating in mid-air. And you see how it sits so perfectly.
I love the shadow it casts.
Absolutely. It's so important. These shadows that come through, that shadows are free. Utilize them wherever it's possible, because when we have anything that's free, we like it, right? But also visually, it's got massive impact. What it gives us is a perspective where we can walk into that field of vision. So we've started with them. We're starting to tell the story. We've got almost a building that we can walk into, and that is just using that shadow play. So then let's start to build and see where we're going from here. The first thing I want to discuss with you are these gorgeous, gorgeous flower baskets, balconies, it's planters, you name it, whatever you want it to be. Now they are obviously this little shape, but if I just bend them ever so slightly, tuck in and tuck in, because I've got that foam tape sitting, what I get is a protrusion. Can you see the shadow behind that? So when I raise that slightly, you've got that beautiful place to work with, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now I need to be able to glue that, so I'm going to have to use wet glue in this instance, because nothing else will seat it. Just let me get a little bit of wet glue.
Until you put that planter in there, to me they were doors, like archways leading up ground level into a cathedral or a stately home or something. When you put the planter there, it made it look like it was windows.
Either or, can't it?
Higher up the building or something.
Unstick my sticky, Dave. I've got all of the sticky.
Your everyday glue.
My everyday, wonderful everyday glue. Don't forget your everyday glue, guys. It is a game changer in the PVA world when you can get it out of the bottle. Miss Taz, can you just pass me one of those, Dave? Because I'm.
There you go.
That'll save me.
It's the heat in the studio. That's what does it.
Yeah, it dries all my glue out, which isn't the best. Right, don't forget your applicators as well, especially, just 2-second talk on applicators while I'm here. I won't bore you with it, but...
These are the best things since sliced bread. They're so precise.
Well, you need them with Carnation because the fine work that we do, it's got this tiny, tiny fuzzy on the end. Instead of it being a little ball, it's this tiny elongated fuzzy, and it allows me to glue tiny areas. When I'm gluing this, I'm going to have to glue on those edges. I need it to stick right inside here, and I need it to stick, like it can't come out. So what I'm going to do is take that applicator, and I'm just going to make sure that I've got glue sitting, and it'll be tiny amounts, and that's okay. Glue's sticky, but
If you took it straight out of the bottle, you'd end up in a right mess. So the applicators are a godsend.
yeah, I think it's really important. A lot of people will use glue on the back of their hand and kind of run things along. I'm slightly averse to that, only just because your hand, the temperature of your hand will change the tackiness of the glue, different things occur. So I'm not a huge fan of doing it, but I know lots of people do, just not for me. So there's that one there. Same thing again, and I'm going to oppose it on the opposite side.
While you're doing that, I'll just say hello to a few people on YouTube. Very proud of myself. I'm going between Facebook and YouTube, no trouble.
Dave!
I know, I'm getting there. Terry says, morning from Christmas Valley. That's in America, isn't it? I think, Christmas Valley.
But it sounds like a place I want to live.
Yeah. Linda Poland says, morning Carla, Dave and Miss Taz and everyone, what a beautiful collection. Thank you, Linda. Absolutely agree with you. Vera says, morning all, another stunning collection. Susan Tither says, morning, what a gorgeous collection. I'm waiting to receive my first die collection, Floral Embrace. Can't wait to play with it.
Ooh, Floral Embrace. Those 3D pivot heads. I love Floral Embrace. Those big florals that we can build and shape our way. I love that. I love
Annie
that.
Foxall says, hello, sorry I'm late. We'll let you off, Annie.
Don't apologise. Right, can we just have a look at this wee table with this little sash? It's absolutely stunning. Prime for shaping out. You don't need your ball tools to shape this one so much, because what we can do is use Nick's cut lines absolutely to a T, and he's put them there. You can see that they are directional. So when he's done this, he's drawn those cut lines in, knowing that the die will just emboss exactly where we need it to in order to give us a fabric feel. So simply by pinching just that bottom edge, and I could ruffle it if I wanted to. I can do all kinds of things with it. I can shape it and play with it because I've got that ruffled edge, but suddenly we have flowing fabric. Literally just little pinches. It gives us that gorgeous visual. Yes, Miss
I
Taz.
see the back of a dress. when
It has
it's-
got
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of impression, hasn't it?
Like a
It's
trail.
got a, yeah.
Train, yeah.
You could certainly do that. Now, if you lift that on foam tape, it's going to give you a really nice shaping, but you won't get that full central panel because the foam tape will be wider. But it is an option for you, so please don't feel that that's not something you can do, depending on the width of your foam tape, because obviously that's going to be the thing that we push against, so it'll just look slightly different.
Kelly Harrington says, Kelly Hobbit Harrington, I said, is that your nickname? She says, yes, Hobbit is a nickname. It's because I'm short, not because I have hairy feet, I promise. The demos are fab.
Ah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Brilliant.
I have got hairy feet. I'm quite willing to admit. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. So I've got that table sitting in the middle there, and I've just tucked those folds into that side so that I get the flow of the fabric and it won't move. And I've lifted that on silicone gel glue so that it just sits that little bit higher.
That could be a christening, couldn't it?
It could literally be a christening. Then I'm going to take my mat, my dense foam mat, and I'm going to take an appropriate ball tool. So let's go in with, I think this one, actually, let me just change it to this one, will be fine for size. So I'm going to come in this side and I'm going to start working from the outside because that's where my cut line, my original cut line is. What I don't want to do is crease the paper. So we're just going to go in and we're going to start just gently burnishing, and that's going to give us this rounded edge. I'm following the bowl, not the feet. And I'm just going to work that way round. Then I'm going to take this line, just pull it across. Now, if you wanted to get super fancy, you can start shaping out each champagne bottle, just giving a little indentation onto the center of that, so you get your 3D effect. Just working through. Take that, and then we can pull those feet forward, and you get this gorgeous shaping out for your
Look
pieces.
at the difference it makes.
It's just,
Massive.
it just gives it that extra oomph, doesn't it? And I'm going to place this on top of the table. That's going to be my champagne celebration. So we're just going to use that. Oh,
Mags Brown says, morning Carla, Dave and Taz and everyone. Bit late joining this morning. That's all right, Mags. We'll let you off.
Hey,
We've got 3
Mags.
shows today, 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock as well. So lots of chances to see this fantastic collection in action.
Just going to place that on top so that I've got that main focus. Now that's obviously my center point at this point. That's where we're looking. That's the visual prompt to be. So I'm happy with how that's gone, and I'm happy with how it's going. I could have used the wedding cake. I've chosen to use the champagne, but you can mix and match obviously with those. And then I've got my lanterns that I'm going to be working with, and I love these so much. Now options here, I can place these just at the edge so I can line that out, and that's a really nice visual scope. Now what we're looking at here is warming the tone, because lots of my tones were cooler. Now the green is going to help me warm those tones, and especially when I use green with gold, what will happen, because I've got the green on the outside, the green in the champagne bottles and the green here, when I add a gold to that, everything warms up. You just get a little bit of a visual heating up, and that's what I'm going to do just to give it that extra kind of lift in tone and colour, and that's going to give me a little bit of sort of different colourway. Let me just put a bit more wet glue down here, because the heat in the studio is sadly drying things out. Now, tiny amounts here. I'm just going to really work my way down with not very much at all, little tiny dots, because Miss Taz, glue is sticky.
Oh, I forgot that t-shirt I was going to get made for you.
What, saying glue is sticky?
Yeah.
Honestly, they'll be able to bury me in that t-shirt. Right, so I'm going to put that onto there, and then I'm going to take the other one, same thing. Now these have obviously got the little hook. These can hang beautifully down here, so just remember other options. Again, you'll see that come through in demo as we go through the day and through to their day tomorrow with Miss Taz. And then you'll have extra demos on Thursday on Hobby Maker, because Carnation now celebrate launch week, and so you can see everything in 1 week and get all the inspiration you could possibly need, which is incredibly useful for you guys.
And we have 2 launches a month.
There's always been 2 launches a month with Carnation historically, so that's always going to be the case. Now, that's got that lovely warming feeling to it now. We've just heated it up, but we need a bit of extra visual, and for that we're going to go in with those florals. So I'm going to start in with these leaves. So I've got just, if I can get hold of them, I'm not going excess with these, and I'm just going to very gently shape a few bits out. So I've got them for both sides, and I want them to cut upwards, so I'm going to work on the top of my vignette, and I'm just going to use a ball tool that's appropriate for size. So this one's a bit smaller. Now normally I would tell you to start at the very edge, but these have got a ton of cut lines in them. You can see them coming up on each side, so I'm actually okay to utilize the center of these, because the cut line will allow that just to breathe basically. So I'm going to run that through the center of those lines, and that's going to start bringing that up, cupping it through, and that will give me that beautiful shaping on the leaves. Really pretty and really easy to do.
I've had a message on YouTube from PRVA. I haven't got your name, but that's your initials. Hello everyone, my order's in. This collection will go well with the large champagne bottle and other Carnation craft goodies.
Bottle of bubbly.
It's superb. Backing papers as well. Thank you so much. It's our pleasure.
I love bottle of bubbly.
That was a good practice set.
It was.
Always good.
And this is going to go well with so many other Carnation collections that we've had in the past.
Well, the whole thing, and I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, you never buy a collection per se with Carnation, or you only ever buy one collection with Carnation. You then buy additions to it.
Extensions, yeah.
And everything goes beautifully with everything else. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Stunning.
So we're starting to get that visual impact now, rising, playing, and going through. And I don't want to overface it. I love the impact of those cool tones, so I'm not going to overface, but I will put some florals in, and I'm going to go as far as to shape these out, because they look extraordinarily pretty when they're done. So I'm just going to place these in. Now you're going to need your smallest ball tool for these, because you're going to really want to start shaping them, getting some lift, getting that kind of cup value that we're looking for in these florals, and they look really pretty. They also look very 3D. There's something really gorgeous about them. So I'm going to take my ball tool and very carefully just spiral. So I'm working on the outside edge. I've got my smallest ball tool, and I'm just going to work my way to that center point, and then I'm going to kind of manipulate that center point by really pushing through. Same thing here, spiral in. I know they're tiny, but it's just worth it to get that beautiful little cup shape that these florals come into. Same again on this one, and I'll do it for all of these florals. It's worth the time. So just going through so they get that gorgeous shaping out, just working on them in a little formation just round, and then I can straighten out that stem. Aren't they pretty?
And remember, all this artwork is done in-house in the UK, so it's for you to enjoy. You can sell what you make if you want to, absolutely fine. But the number of people I know that only buy Carnation Crafts dies and artwork, because it's the next level of luxury. It really, really is.
Most people I speak to say they only buy Carnation now, which is very, very lovely to hear. I think as crafters we're quite savvy. We're not daft, and I think we know when something's handmade, it means what we handcraft is far more kind of detailed and beautiful. And if we're spending money on these things, then we want to spend it in a place that's going to give us the best advantage. Now I'm going to place those down. If you can't get purchase because they're just dinky, just use your pokey and help get purchased that way. That'll allow it to get that adhesion that we're looking for. All I want is a tiny, tiny little visual here. My showstopper is the arched windows themselves and also that champagne. So I'm not trying to outdo them.
I can't think of many other collections other than Carnation Crafts that give you that sense of joy and achievement and pleasure when you're working with them, to be honest.
Well, Dave, you give me that.
Ah.
Only on Sundays.
We see each other virtually.
Dave.
I see you more than I see my other half.
I
now.
know, Dave. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're a TV married couple.
Because we're doing shows together at Hobby Maker on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, Dave's basically my shadow. Let me just use my pokey just to aid
also,
myself.
Today, Monday, this is exclusive. You can't get it anywhere else for the next few days. So if you want to be one of the first people in the world to have this collection, pop it in your basket today and check out, and we'll get it to you straight away.
And if you buy it today from Carnation, there is an extraordinarily huge chance that you are going to have this in your port tomorrow.
Well, they are good with delivery.
Oh
They
yeah,
are really
I mean,
good.
if you've made your order in the last 50 odd minutes, the chances are it's picked and packed and probably ready for the postman to pick up this afternoon. So
Now, I've got that sitting where it's got. So I've got choices here. I'm probably not going to do this. I just wanted to show you it. What I can do is place a lantern on the top. What that will do is give me that visual V, which I really like. What I could do is place these, one here and one here, also giving me a different visual. So you can see now the V goes that way. We're always talking composition. I don't like it so much with the champagne bottles with the two at the side, because I feel like I'm detracting from what I'm doing. So if I was to do one of those, just to tell you, I would put it at the center at the top.
I agree.
Just so that I've got that composition value that makes sense to the card and doesn't steal the show from my champagne bottles. I'm not going to use either, but just wanted to show you. But what I am going to do is put a sentiment on here, because I love these sentiments very, very much.
And these have got their own artwork as well in 2 different colorways. So you can print the sentiments off, all the artwork off right now at carnationcrafts.co.uk. Just go to downloads, free downloads, and then you'll see Nature's Opulence there. And yeah, print them off to your heart's content, and the backing papers too.
Very, very beautiful. So just place these in. And place that with a little Y tucked just to where the archway sits, and just with a little overhang.
Stunning. It's like you've employed the most expensive wedding planner.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
literally.
Yeah.
And just with a very, very sweet, very beautiful, also very dimensional, gorgeous card. It's a really stunning collection.
Yeah,
really,
beautiful.
really beautiful
Absolutely
collection.
beautiful. So there we are on, was that an 8x8 size?
That's an 8x8.
8x8, okay.
Yeah.
Let me show you some other finished cards as well to give you some ideas. You mentioned earlier on, or Carla mentioned earlier on, that these are self-supporting. You can actually have the archways, the wonderful Gothic archways, as a standalone card. It doesn't need to be backed onto a cardstock. Well, here Janine has taken it one step further. This is 3D. I've only just found this one. This was buried at the bottom of my pile of cards. Look at that. That is amazing. It's like you feel as if you could actually walk into it. Incredible.
It's for me, it's quite Roman. as
Roman?
well.
Yeah?
Yeah, it has got a Roman feel.
Absolutely.
Do you know what it reminds me? I always, my little brain goes, it's got a feel. Do you know what I think would look really beautiful at the front of that is, you know, the fountain from in the courtyard?
Yeah.
Where you build the fountain?
Yeah.
really beautiful on the
That
front
would
of
look
that.
good. There's also a hint of Moroccan in there, maybe. A
There
little bit.
is.
It could be all sorts of different cultures, really. But I love that. And remember, the heart of the main collection is the living wall. That's your card blank. That's your card shape you're going to get. So let's just show you that for a minute, because we haven't really talked about that very much. Janine, again, is responsible for this one. So this is the main frame in the card shape, but it's all about a living wall. So the living wall could be a brickwork wall, which is this one just here. And again, you get the die to actually give you the imprint of where the bricks actually start and finish. And you can have vines and foliage climbing up the wall if you want to. But then you're also going to get, with the vignettes, this amazing foliage background. And again, you can put all the foliage, all the flowers on there. Living walls, when we were in lockdown, were massively popular.
Yeah, they were.
Everyone was zooming, having floral walls. But of course, they're big in like weddings, to have photographs taken in front of them, that sort of thing as well. So that's included too. But here it is with the brickwork, which is completely different. It's got a completely different feel to it, but still celebratory. Happy graduation, champagne fountain, the brickwork behind it, and then that beautiful pedestal with the scroll and the graduation hat on there as well. And then back to our lifted in light. There we go, another
How
way of
pretty
using it.
that is.
Beautiful, absolutely
That
beautiful.
hint of yellow, it's so beautiful, isn't it? The way we play.
And then this one, very simple but incredibly effective. Pam Simpson's done this one with that beautiful happy birthday sentiment and the flowers in the corner. So you can make them as unfussy as you like, or you can really go to town and make three-dimensional, well, almost like ornaments with them as well. So the main collection, Nature's Opulence, is doing very, very well, very busy for it. It's brand new and exclusive to us at Carnation Crafts TV today. The way to order, just in case you found us and you've never ordered this way before, go to the website. It's down bottom left on the screen there, carnationcrafts.co.uk. It is $79.99, and I must stress that is the new discounted price. We did used to have promo codes before. Now we just basically discount it for everybody, so there's no promo code needed. You're getting it down from $89.99 to $79.99. Now at this early stage of the day today, 40% of Nature's Opulence has gone, 60% of Lifted in Light has gone, and that's this separate die set. So it may well be you want to go for Nature's Opulence on its own, that's fine. If you want to go for Lifted in Light on its own, that's fine, but they really do work together very well. I think lots of you are choosing to go for both of them. I mean, if you wanted that $34.99 plus, you'd be looking at about £115, and no shipping and handling if you're in the UK, because you've spent over £50. So there, all of these dies you get in Nature's verses on your anniversary, happy birthday, celebrate in style. Then you've got all the celebratory bits and pieces that you need: the champagne fountain, the champagne bucket, the scroll, the graduation hat, everything else, Mr. and Mrs. Love Heart in there as well. And then over here you've got that beautiful mirror, it could be a picture frame, and then you get all the other foliage extras as well with that pedestal. So that is our first show of the day. Remember, we're here at 11 o'clock and we're here at 1 o'clock. Tell your friends to tune in to either YouTube or Facebook, and if you want to place your order, we'll come back at 11 with an update. And don't forget those perfect papers as well, but just go to carnationcrafts.co.uk. See you at 11 then?
See you at 11.
See you at 11, Taz.
See ya.